Are you kidding me? Anyway, there's more from the NATO summit. Trump says Ukraine's escalation inside of Russia could help end the war.
On occasion, by phone. We had a great talk the other day, I think, very positive. And I think we have some very good stories to tell, what's going on. He wants to see a settlement, and I think President Putin wants to see a settlement. And usually that means a settlement, but who knows, this is a tough one. But I just, we just had our NATO meeting, and it was a great meeting.
Yeah, see, pretty much all drones used in Ukraine are produced in Russia now. Russia to produce over 32,000 drones each year by 2030, TASS reports. Yeah, they're no longer drop shipping Shaheds like they were initially.
Probably heard it was a great meeting. There was a lot of love in that room. A lot of unity. And I don't think it could have been, Marco, what do you think? It couldn't have gone much better. Do you have a feeling as to what you just saw?
Very positive. A lot of unity. Strengthen that unity.
Yeah, really good. Scott, what do you think?
Yes, sir. All the Europeans, they attributed you to saving NATO, and they want to do what they're supposed to do and do the right thing.
Yeah, there was something very special. And I will say that what they've done with Turkey and President Erdogan has been a friend of mine. He's been a friend of mine for a long time. Strong man, good man, and he's done a fantastic job. Every road is so.
That article's from January 2024, lol. Yeah, all the way back in January 2024, they were already changing their production away from their reliance on Iran. Am I wrong? I mean, I might be wrong. I was under the assumption that they were utilizing Iranian Shahed drones, but they swapped over to their indigenous domestic manufacturing. And I could be totally wrong on this, but that's what I thought was going on. Yes, you are wrong. If you have a better article on this stuff, I'd love to look at it. Not saying that they haven't used, Shaheds, but they're producing the Shaheds on their own now, rather than getting it from Iran. Am I wrong about this? This is what I thought was going on. I could be. Russia lifts lid on secretive drone factory as satellite images reveal rapid expansion at key site. This is from 2025. Yeah, see, they're making Shahed drones at their own facilities now. I don't know why I can't fucking see this article, God damn it. Here's another one. How China supercharged Putin's drone factories. Moscow is ramping up production of its giant arms complex fueled by components from Beijing. In Tatarstan. You are correct. Their domestic product Shahed is called the Garen 2. I think they're very confused on what now? You just said two things. Ukraine importing from Russia and about Iran. Wait, what? Ukraine? No, I think you misunderstood my point. My point was Russia initially got a lot of drones from Iran, Shahed drones. Then they ramped up Russia, not Ukraine. Why the fuck would Ukraine get drones from Iran? What are you talking about? Yes, that's what I was confused about. Did I misspeak? If you rewind, if you subscribe, you can rewind. No, I never intended to say that Ukraine gets drones from Iran. No, I'm talking about Russia. I probably said Russian drones used in Ukraine, and then you misheard me.
Everything's perfect. He's from the airport to the destination, everything's been perfect. So we had a really good meeting, and we thought this would be a good time.
Yeah, when I said majority of drones being used in Ukraine by Russia, okay, that's where the misunderstanding comes from. I said drones, the majority of the drones used in Ukraine, when I'm talking about by Russia, like the drones being deployed in Ukraine by Russia, are now Russian manufactured.
Time for President Zelensky and I to meet, and we'll see what we can do. But we've actually developed a good relationship. It's hard to believe, right? From the Oval Office to now, I think we've developed a very good relationship. And
this is not the end.
no, this is not. This is going to be the beginning, maybe.
Yeah.
Just the beginning. And you know, the country has a lot of future. It has such great land, such great assets, such great people. And you have a lot of people. I was with a group in Poland, and you have a lot of people in Poland, and which is a terrific country with a really great president. I happen to endorse him, so, and he's doing a very good job. And they were saying they love Poland, but they really want to go back. You know, you're going to get a lot of people back when this is over. They left some, and they're all. I think they're going to come back.
Is this the Zaluzhny article? The one that you just linked me, Chatter? The one that says that the European estimates on like Ukraine's successes are overestimating Ukraine's capabilities. There's still a lot more need from NATO. Yeah. Oh, it is the Zaluzhny article. Yes. Valery Zaluzhny reports, the ambassador to Ukraine in the United Kingdom, reports on the Telegraph. He says, do not assume Russia has lost the war. Modern warfare no longer rewards tactical victories the way it once did. The article basically talks about Ukraine's successful strikes on logistics and how much leverage the attacks on critical infrastructure gave Ukraine, something that I've acknowledged, and the steady erosion of Russia's military position as evidence that the conflict is approaching its end. That is a dangerous misreading of the war. It reflects a tendency to interpret events through the lens of individual battlefield successes rather than the wider strategic picture. Modern warfare no longer rewards tactical victories in the way that it once did. Advances in drone technology, precision strike capabilities, and surveillance have transformed the battlefield, making decisive breakthroughs extraordinarily difficult for either side. Saying the Zaluzhny piece basically ends with Russia is better positioned to win the long-term war, better positioned to withstand the war of attrition as opposed to Ukraine. This is no longer a war of swift maneuvers, it's a war of attrition. Every tactical gain now comes at an extraordinary cost. Positions can be taken, but holding them, reinforcing them, and evacuating the wounded has become increasingly difficult under constant drone surveillance. Success on the battlefield is measured in meters rather than miles, and often at a price that bears little relation to its strategic value. The same is true beyond the front line. Ukraine's increasingly effective strikes against Russian logistics and critical infrastructure. Hold on. Doors open. Sorry. Impose real costs on Moscow, but these attacks are expensive, technologically demanding, and ultimately reciprocal. Russia retains the ability to strike back with equal or greater force. Neither side can rely on this form of warfare to produce a decisive strategic outcome. The battlefield has therefore reached something close to equilibrium. Russia lacks the military capacity to conquer Ukraine outright. Equally, Ukraine does not currently possess the means to liberate all occupied territory by force alone. The military balance has become one of mutual denial. Can you give me chopsticks and the sauces? Yeah, the Asian sauces, though. If the measure is whether the Kremlin achieved its original political objectives, then it clearly is not. Bros casually delivery come inside his office? No. He's so stupid. Yeah, I just opened the all the doors. You can just like walk right into my home, dude. What are you, fucking nuts? How come a Ukrainian ambassador is openly saying this? Doesn't this essentially admit that Ukraine is more cooked than the Western press says? I mean, he's saying this because he wants more support. Yeah, not that one. No, those ones. Yeah, thank you. It's fine. The reason why he's saying this is because in order for Ukraine to win, like Ukraine's territorial, or not territorial, but like Ukraine's is a call to action. It's a demand from NATO to do more, to seize victory here. That's what's going on.
A big percentage are going to come back. So we're going to have a good talk, and we're going to see how it all goes. And Mr. President, would you like to say something?
Thanks so much, Mr. President. Thank you very much for this meeting, and we are very thankful, as always, to your support, American support, bipartisan support. Thanks for the invitation to this summit, and I think that I agree with you. We have a lot what to discuss and what to speak about, and of course we are thankful for the Pearl program, and we want to share with you some details what we want to raise during our meeting. Air defense is the priority. The second point, or maybe the first, about negotiations. I think yes, we understand what to do. It's our estimation what to do, how to bring this, and I hope that you will do. I'm sure that you will do everything to stop this war. Yeah, and I'm very happy that our side began to work on drone deal, and it's very good beginning. And I hope that today I will have possibility to also to discuss with you some very important details. Thank you so much.
Well, we've settled a lot of wars, and this one is the one that I thought maybe would be the easiest. But Putin's a difficult character, and this guy's a difficult character. It's not the easiest thing, and there's a lot of commitment, and there's a lot of love of the countries and everything else. But I think we've made a lot of progress in the last couple of weeks, and we'll see how it all goes. So, do you have any questions?
President Trump, sir. President Trump.
With the Iran ceasefire possibly over, can we expect the resumption of full-scale hostilities?
They are behaving very badly, as they have for 47 years. And, we hit them hard last night after they launched a couple of, you don't have to know about this, you got stuff on your mind, but they launched a couple of drones and one rocket, one missile, and at ships, because they were in the strait, which they have every right to be. And so we hit them very hard last night, very, very hard. Probably hit them hard again tonight. I'll give them a little warning, we're going to hit them hard tonight. But we'll see how it all works out. No, I'm not happy with them. It's like, for instance, we'll have a meeting and we'll talk about the denuclearization of Iran, because that's what the war is. It's not a war, it's really the denuclearization of Iran.
Iran proliferating. Breaking. Iranian lawmakers have discussed raising uranium enrichment to 90% weapons grade level as a potential option if the U.S. and Israel attack again, per TASS. This follows Iranian Parliament National Security Commission spokesperson Ebrahim Rezai's warning that Iran has many options not used during the recent 40-day war, including NPT withdrawal, nuclear doctrine shift, and closure of both strategic straits, the Strait of Hormuz and Bab el-Mandeb. A parliamentary plan for full NPT withdrawal is already ready for review. If Iran faces an existential threat, modifying the nuclear doctrine could also be put on the agenda. They're moving into the Hasanabi doctrine stage.
And we'll have a meeting and we'll talk about just that. Because my whole thing is not about regime change. It's not about, although I think it's regime change when you knock out the first group, the second group, and now you're the. I think that's maybe the ultimate regime change, but that's not what it's about. It's about we don't want them to have nuclear weapons, and it's denuking or denuclearization, and I think we've made a lot of progress, and they'll get out of the room. We'll talk about it like we're here. They'll agree on everything, and then they'll go have a news conference and say we never even talked about it. They're cuckoo. There's something wrong with these people. And for 47 years, they've been the bully of the Middle East, and they're not the bully anymore. They're not the bully anymore. And all we want, it's very simple. They can't have a nuclear weapon. That's what I'm there for.
President Trump, sir. President Trump.
If they did, they'd use it, and we're not going to let that
President Trump, sir.
Daniel?
You've made a career making deals in very challenging situations. Speaking to President Zelensky, speaking to President Putin, in your view, sir, what is the most pragmatic pathway forward to finding a long-term peace deal?
I just think they're going to make a deal. Look, this deal has been in the works for a long time. It's got the pluses, the minuses. They know what it is. He knows what it is better than anybody. And I just think it's sometimes, I used an analogy, and it sounds simple, but it's sort of true. You have two kids in a park, and they don't like each other, and they start fighting. Sometimes you have to let them fight. Let them see that it's tough. It's tough. Fighting is tough. And he's done an amazing job. Look, he's been very effective. Now he's had.
I mean, this is partially the reason. This is partially how you can tell. Since the strikes on oil refineries and shit, like there has been a lot more leverage for Ukraine because Trump is now talking about Ukraine positively. You know what I mean? At least they've been able to make a convincing case to Trump that Ukraine has, has charted some gains here.
The best equipment because he's had our equipment, and he said, "Great, but somebody has to use that equipment." And you have a lot of brave people that are using that equipment. And Russia, it's a big country, but it's a big force. Russia's always been a big fighting force, so it's. But I really believe it's ready. It's very interesting because you'd almost say it's worse than ever, and maybe it isn't. Sometimes with war, and you study war, and I've studied it so long, for years, long before I did this. Sometimes it's when it gets the worst.
Definitely. Donald Trump definitely studied war long before he became president.
And I don't know that it's the worst right now. It's consistently bad. They lost 25,000 people were lost, kids, young people, last month. And we had a month, 35, 2 months ago. And I would say more Russians. And but it's just, they're people. They're people. And there's actually very little difference between the people. I mean, it's like the Russians and Ukrainian people. And they can get along. But it's a nasty war. Thousands and thousands, mostly soldiers, are being killed. The battlefields, I see pictures and it's horrible. He thinks it's horrible. We all think it's horrible. And the president wants to get it done, and I believe that President Putin wants to get it done, and that should be a good combination. Thank you.
Mr. President, what is your assessment on Ukraine's strike on Russian oil refineries and military factories?
Where are you from?
Ukraine.
Come on, they're the same people.
Phrase the question differently.
Stop fighting.
Ukraine deliver strikes
He's
on
like,
Russian
just as my
military
best friend
factories
Vladimir
and,
Putin says. Just as my best friend Vladimir Putin says, you guys are the same people. Why are you fighting? Just give it up. I don't understand it. Why fight? You say Kiev. You say Kiev. He says Kiev. Who gives a damn? It's chicken Kiev. Same language.
refineries, and they ran out of gas.
Marco, why don't you answer that? Because
Well,
you're right in the middle of it.
Yeah, no, I think what you're discussing is the ability of Ukraine to reach deep inside of Russia and conduct
sure,
strikes.
sure.
I think that's one of the dynamics that's changed in this war over the last few months, and that is that Russians are finding it more difficult to defend their own airspace. And what we hope that means is that it's going to create the space now to negotiate the end of this war.
It's an escalation, but it's also an escalation that can help lead to an end. And
Mr. President, what makes you think that Mr. Putin might be seeking for the settlement?
so where are you from?
Radio Free Europe's Ukrainian service. I'm from Ukraine.
Okay, good. Because I talked to him. I talked to him. I talked to President Zelensky, and I think
He's like, Margot, didn't we cut our funding? Margot, why does she have funding still? I don't understand it.
that's all I've done. My whole life I made deals. I guess becoming president was making a deal, right? It was like a lot of little individual things. In the end, it's making a deal. And that's what I do. And I do it well, and I know when people want to make a deal. I think he wants to make a deal. And I do feel that President Zelensky would like to get back to rebuilding
Remember
his
when he
country as
said this?
opposed to
Like 158 times in the first month of his presidency. When he brought Zelensky up to be like, you fucking piece of shit, why don't you say thank you? That was awesome.
having all of this death and destruction. Ukraine has tremendous potential. He understands that. We talk about that. He talks about that more than he talks about the war. To me, I think you might find that more exciting than the war. It's brutal. The other's the beauty of it. I think he'll build a great country. I think he's going to build it. We have a little stake in that country now because we have some land in that country, but we have minerals. It's among the wealthiest. It's among the best land anywhere in the world for rare earth. And we have some,
Russia is bombing my
we have some
city
rare
again.
earth. I look forward to taking advantage of it at the right time.
Mr. President, Europe to make Patriot missiles in Europe.
He's one of my favorite soldiers. I see him. He's central casting. Right? You doing okay?
Yes, sir.
We see him at meetings. He's good. He's done a great job. Great job.
Trying to do our best.
Great hero, actually.
Mr.
Mr. President, will you allow Europe to make Patriot interceptors in Europe? Are you comfortable with licensing that technology?
About what? Tell me.
Patriot interceptors to be made in Europe.
And you're talking with respect to Ukraine. Well, we're going to talk about that. Look, it's a defensive weapon, which I like, better than an offensive weapon. It's the best. So I was saying we have an aircraft carrier, which is one of the most beautiful in the world. It's one of the biggest, the Abraham Lincoln. And 2 months ago, we had 100, I told this story yesterday, we had 111 missiles shot by the Islamic Republic of Japan. They were shot at the aircraft carrier over a period of about 1 hour.
What? Nani? Wakarimashita. Trump-sama. The Islamic Republic of Japan? Aurora. Dude, imagine trying to... How the fuck do you say mashallah in Japanese? Oh my God. Mashuraru aruraru. I don't even know how you would say mashallah. I love this. This is real for me. The Islamic Republic of Japan is real. Japanese Muslim guy trying to say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim unironically is like a Nick Mullen bit. Incredible.
111 missiles going to a very expensive ship, and every one of those missiles was knocked down. Pretty much most by Patriots, but by other means also, as you know.
Yeah.
Other less expensive means. It's even better when you do that. But out of the 111 missiles, every one of them was shot down. It didn't hit the ship, and bad things happen, right, when that happens. So think of that, over a period of 1 hour, these missiles are coming at you, and every one of them shot down. So I think one of the things we're going to be talking about is, as you know, the companies, we have great power over the companies. Those companies that make the Patriot and make all of the great stuff, the Tomahawks, all of the great stuff. We have the best stuff. Many things. The Patriot's great, but we have many, many great things. You see that with Venezuela. You see it with Iran. Look, Iran has been wiped out. Iran, their Navy's gone, their Air Force is gone, everything's gone. But one of the things I think we're going to be talking about today, a little birdie told me this, about the fact that we'll give them the right to make Patriots. We'll show them how to do it. It's very complex, actually, but it's you'll figure out the complexity quickly. And we're talking about that, and the company that makes them, which is building now 4 plants, all of our companies will be able to do this in 2 to 3 months. If you order a Patriot, now you have to wait a long time for them. Same thing with Tomahawks. We have a lot of certain equipment, but with they call it the elite equipment, and you don't need elite equipment necessarily for a war. But so one of the things we're going to be talking about is we're going to give a license to you to make Patriots. That's pretty cool, right?
Very.
This way you can't complain that we're not giving them enough. I say make them yourself. We haven't informed the company of that yet, but that'll work out all right. I'm sure they'll be thrilled. But they'll be able to do it. You'll be able to figure that out. Most countries couldn't do that.
Yeah.
If I said that to most countries, they wouldn't know what I'm talking about. But this is a very ingenious group. And what I like about that, it's a defensive situation as opposed to an offensive. But I think one of the things you might want to be talking about is that. That's what I heard. Little birdie told me that.
On Iran, can you clarify, does the end of the ceasefire mean that we are back to a full-scale
Well, as far as I'm
military
concerned,
conflict?
look, they violate the agreement every day. They lie, they cheat, they kill people. They've been killing people for 47 years. They knocked out the SS Cole. We lost, 200 people more. That was a long time ago. For 47 years, no president did anything about that. Well, Obama actually gave them vast amounts of money. You'd like this. He gave them a plane load of money, $1.7 billion in green cash. They loaded up a Boeing 757. Remember the old 750? It was a beautiful plane loaded up with cash. They took all the seats out, and they took all of the cash from Virginia, Maryland, and D.C. banks. They had no money. They took every ounce of cash, put it in, flew it to Iran, and gave them the money. I wonder what these guys thought of when the door opened and cash fell out of this big plane, beautiful plane. And then on top of that, they gave them billions and billions of dollars. And by the way, they gave it to the wrong country, frankly. You want to know the truth. And it began. That was pretty much the Obama deal. That was one of the worst tragedies that happened. That's what happened in the Middle East. That deal set back that whole situation. They went with it. Frankly, they picked the wrong country. They picked the wrong country. POC. What a terrible deal. I call it the Obama nuclear waste deal.
JCPOC? What? Oh my God. Jesus Christ. People of color. That's what I call it. Jesus Christ. Peace. I don't even know. What would it be? Piece of crap. Oh, PLC. Piece of crap.
Because what he did with that deal is he caused tremendous hardship in the Middle East. It was a terrible, terrible thing to do. And we've been just the opposite. Our deal is a wall to a nuclear weapon. His deal was a road to a nuclear weapon. They'll never build a nuclear weapon under our deal. But I don't know if we're going to have a deal. We may just do it without a deal. Because you know what? It's easier. Because these people, they lie and they cheat, and you have an agreement, and they'll go outside. For instance, they agreed, well, we'll never have a nuclear weapon. They agreed. Then they go outside, they have a news conference where they leak that we never discussed the subject. Now, who would believe we never discussed the subject? Because for me, that's 99.9% of what we're doing. It's denuclearization of Iran, okay? So when you ask, our guys can continue. You know, Steve is great, and Jared, and all the guys. They know him very well. Yeah, actually, they're working on your stuff, too. I wonder which. I picked 2 beauties. You know what? We settled 8 wars. I got a couple of beauties here. But Steve's great, and Jared's great. You know, they're the right guys. And we'll see what happens. But I will say this. Iran, they've misbehaved for 47 years. They've killed our soldiers, they've killed our people, and they've killed a lot of people all over the Middle East and elsewhere. And the roadside bomb was their preferred, you know,
I can't deal with the fact that, like, no one will dispute this, but the JCPOA was successful. If the goal was to stop Iranian uranium enrichment, it was the most successful instance of foreign policy and diplomacy that Obama engaged in. It's so crazy that he came in and was mad, or not, he wasn't even mad necessarily. He just came in and as Israel's slave, pretty much, ripped that shit apart. Because there was only one party that didn't want it. It was Israel. And then took it one step further and finally attacked Iran militarily. It's just so terrible. The world's fate hangs on this man's hands.
preferred weapon was by Soleimani, the roadside bomb, where it would explode under a truck. We actually built trucks with floors, steel this thick, and then all they did was they made bigger bombs. And we have young guys around, not walking around because they have no legs, but their legs were blown off, their arms were blown off, their face was blown off, and they live because of modern medicine. You can do anything, but they're living like in hell. Their whole life changed because of Iran. And that was 96% of the people that used that, they were made in Iran. And so we have a score to settle too.
What about the naval blockade, sir?
Mr. President, you say that President Putin is...
It's pretty wild how little Iran has done stuff to us. And we have, for the most part, a lot of people don't know this. I mean, I'm sure you're in this community, so you've heard me say this before, but Iran was an ally post 9/11. Iran was actually consistently an ally in the global war on terror. And what's really interesting about this is like the only time when there was like a little bit of friction was in Iraq with the Shia population, but that's pretty much it. Outside of that, Iran gave the United States targets to bomb for Al-Qaeda, for all these other like Salafist groups. Iran mourned the losses of America during 9/11, like right after 9/11. Iran was shocked when the Acts of Evil speech came out and they were mentioned as a part of the enemies that were responsible for 9/11 because like it doesn't make any sense because like they thought from their perspective, it's like, oh, Saudi Arabia did this. Who's our biggest enemy? Saudi Arabia. Great. You know, time to fucking roll up your sleeves and get to work. America took Iran's biggest ops in the region, like Saddam Hussein, and Saudi Arabia, and we're like, you guys are all the same. How crazy is that? That's got to be like the highest profile racist policy of all time. And people just ate that shit up. And they still believe it. They're like, oh, Iran, Iraq, what's the difference? They're all ISIS. Mind-boggling. Yeah, America did the slop tuber special. Incredible.
Ready to finish this war. What if he doesn't? Are you ready to put pressure on Russia? Are you ready to
Well, we
put
have a
more
lot of pressure.
sanctions?
We have a lot of pressure on President Putin. You know, I don't think he likes what's going on. I don't think he's thrilled with what's happening. There's a lot of pressure on President Putin to get it done. I think there's pressure on everybody to get that one done. A lot of pressure.
Mr. President, what's your security guarantee for Ukraine?
The guarantee?
Yeah, security guarantee for
The
Ukraine.
security guarantee
Yeah.
you're talking about? I mean, not that we want to do it. We'll do it to save lives. Look, Ukraine's very far away. We have an ocean separating us. What I'm doing is I'm trying to save lives. A lot of lives are being lost. I also think that it's a country with great potential. I think if this kind of brain power can go toward rebuilding the country instead of fighting a war, I think it's going to do. I think that.
My man took the long way home to go, nothing. There's your answer. He's like, oh, security guarantees. Well, Ukraine, you guys are a beautiful country.
Country's going to do fantastically well. And likewise, Russia, you know, look, they're devoting a lot of energy. A lot of energy. Do you have a question for President Putin, please? Do you have a question for
President Putin?
President Putin? Not Zelensky. Putin. Yeah, what would you like to ask him? Because I'm going to ask him that question.
I have a question. Last year you called Russia.
Safe. No, he saved it. He did the Biden thing, but then he saved it. Sorry, libtards. He saved it. He played it off so cool. Nice save, Mr. President. Thank you. You got a question for President Putin? For President Putin, I'm not Zelensky. I'll ask him for you. He ain't saved shit. Yeah, he did not.
Russia a paper tiger, referring that they're not doing that.
Who did I call?
I'm from Telegraph UA, Ukrainian media.
No, give us a question, not for Zelensky. Give us a question for Putin.
Why is he attacking
Because I'm speaking to him today.
Yeah,
Putin,
why
when
is he
will,
attacking
a good, hard question.
when will he end this war?
Okay, bro, we get it. You fucked up. You don't have to be like, oh my God. You know what? I respect him. I respect him for sticking to it. He's like, no, I wanted you to ask. No, I wanted you to ask a question for President Putin. Not for this guy, Zelensky, for President Putin. I know the difference. I know the difference. Look at Zelensky's face, bro. Look at my man's face, bro. Mr. President, please just let me answer a question. We need more money and Patriot missile. Mr. President, I know I have to sit here and say you're doing all right.
That's a good question. I don't think I've ever asked him that question. I've been asking that question.
Mr. President, what's the status of a drone deal between the U.S.
Say
and
it?
Ukraine? What's the status
By the
of
way,
a drone?
I will tell you, though, he's going to tell you that he wants it ended as soon as he can end it.
Do you
He
believe
wants it
that?
ended. He wants to end it soon. And I asked him,
I swear he's feeling himself. He thinks he's got the demeanor of a man who just aced his test after not studying at all. Okay? In his mind, he fucking nailed it. Like, he's like, yeah. I'll tell you what he'd say. I'll tell you. Because you want to know. You want to know. I'll tell you what he says. He'd say, Donald Trump is the greatest president of all time. No one has ever been like him. He's said it. It's real. It's true. He said it before. He'd say, I wasn't afraid of Joe Biden, but I'm afraid of you. That's right. Very cool. Aren't I very cool? You know what he'd say? He'd say, #1 on TikTok.
and we talk. I talk to him a lot. I talk to him a little bit less, but the relationship is very good. But I talk to President Putin a lot. He wants to end the war.
Mr. President,
A lot of people don't believe that.
Doesn't he
What's
want
the
all of
status
it?
of a drone deal between Ukraine?
What are President Putin's conditions for ending the war? Do you know what?
Well, they were certain conditions that were a little bit different. I think they're changing. I think they're probably getting a little bit better toward some of the things that you'd like. It's been tougher in Russia. It's been a lot tougher than it was supposed to be. I mean, in all fairness, this was supposed to be this is a war that would have never happened if I were president. Would have never happened. You'd have a full country, you know, I mean, just a shame that it happened. But no, this is something that I think Zelensky wants to do and Putin wants to do. They want to get it done. Ask the president that question. Ask him.
Пане президенте, ви знаєте, на яких зараз умовах Володимир Путін готовий завершувати війну в Україні? Чи ж вони змінилися?
Go ahead.
No, I don't know what I don't know what conditions Putin now wants for this peace. So I think that they are changing in any way, because at the very beginning of full-scale war, he was stronger, and now I think he is losing initiative on the battlefield. I think his army, but that's why I think that because of technologies, because it's not the question now of number of people. People, our heroic people, are very important, but now it's not the question of only number of people. First of all,
Austin, asked me to do something. Oh my God, dude. Let's be real. Nobody gives a shit. It never worked for Ukraine.
people and technologies, people with technologies. Now I think that we have better steps, technological steps further than Russia, maybe quicker, because you know that they produce a lot of different things which are tough, strong against us, but we are quicker, and that's why I think that now initiative moved to our hands, not totally, but moved. We are trying to move this war to the sky from the battlefield. That's why we now begin to control the battlefield. This is very important. It's difficult when you have less people to move them back, but we found another way how to do it, to cut their logistic for their army. It's about weapon, petrol, diesel, without massive human losses. That is the difference between us, by the way. Russia is,
He's got a lot of support. I just left a room with, where they have, mostly European, you have Canada, but mostly European countries. and they have great support for
It's true.
Ukraine, and really great support. One of the things you talk about questions for Putin, but one of the things that I talked to him about was where would you want to meet? And he said, ideally in Moscow. I said, you're not going to meet in Moscow. It just doesn't work. You can't do that. But he'll meet, and Zelensky's going to meet, and something's going to happen that's going to be positive. And I hope it's going to happen soon, because they have to, number one, lives, but number two, building your country, because it's got a tremendous.
Trump retweeting a fake photo of an attack on Iran. This is in retribution for yesterday's bombing of ships by Iran. If it happens again, it will get much worse. Trump posting a fake image from open source intel. Awesome. It's an Israeli account, by the way. Open source intel is literally an Israeli possible Mossad account. Yeah, retruthed by real American patriots now. Awesome.
Future, in my opinion. Yeah.
Where was it held and when would that happen?
I don't know.
Mr. President,
President Putin said, I would love to meet in Moscow. And I said, I don't think, I have to put myself in his position. I don't know that he'd go to Moscow. Maybe he would. Would you go to Moscow?
It's difficult. There are a lot of Ukrainian drones there. That's right. It's dangerous.
He doesn't want to be hit by a drone.
Europe.
No, it's hard. It's hard to go to Moscow.
Mr. President,
I didn't want to ask him that question.
Mr. President, how to ensure that Ukraine will not be attacked again by Russia?
What about?
How to make sure that Ukraine will not be attacked by Russia again?
Well, look, you mean in the future?
Yes.
You mean after there's an agreement? Well, we're going to work on a security guarantee and Russia respects us a lot, and we're going to work on some kind of a security. If we can make the right deal, we'll help Europe. I mean, Europe is going to be watching it, but we're going to be helping them, and we'll work on some kind of a security package that will make sure. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that if we make a deal, Russia is going to be very happy, and they're going to get on with other things. They have, by the way, as a country too, they have tremendous potential. They have tremendous land.
This is the most lucid he's seemed in a while. Yeah, because he had that Turkish eggplant puree and the braised ribs. He's been maybe eating some baklava too. Baklava, the baklava. That's why.
Valuable land that they can do things with, and they have tremendous potential. But I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see. That question is, they're going to attack again. I don't see it at all. I think they've had it. This has been going on.
You're a clown. You're funny. Thank you.
For almost 5 years, right?
Yeah.
Who would have thought? I mean, it's a tribute because it's a bigger country, strong country, and it's an amazing tribute. Anything else?
With the Patriot. With the Patriot.
All right, let's skip this shit.
Well, this morning, Maine Senate nominee Graham Plattner.
Oh my God. There's no new information on Graham Plattner, right? Troy Jackson announced he's running for Maine Senate. That's cool. I know we're waiting. We're waiting for more. We're waiting for more information because Plattner's supposed to be coming out. What did Zaid say? Oh, here, let's hear what Zaid had to say. The Plattner campaign's organizing director has resigned from the Maine Democratic Party over their lack of engagement with grassroots organizers and volunteers in determining the nominee placement process. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I wonder what the fucking main Dems are going to do, honestly. I'm actually worried. What is Turkish delight called in Turkey? Great question. Lokum. Lokum. Greek delight? No. No. The way I see it, 70% of main Dems chose Plattner, probably not endorsing his skeletons so much as his policies. They will be most likely to turn out to defeat cons if the ME Dems make sure those policies are their policies. I think with Biden, the Dems tried to solve this by Kamala, who ran as basically Biden too. It wasn't even a bad plan if Biden won wasn't so unpopular. Whether you believe the allegations or not, problem with Plattner is his personal life is sucking up all the attention rather than the issues. That's a disaster for the race. What? Does Turkey have a gun culture like the U.S.? I'm still hung up on the handgun thing. No, we do not. Chances Plattner says fuck you and goes for it, very low. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. You're built like Babe Ruth. What the fuck? I have no idea what Babe Ruth is built like. But I just don't, I don't know. We're about to find out. We're about to find out if Graham Plattner is narcissistic to that degree. Babe Ruth is kind of fat. Oh, that's why he's saying that. Dude, it's such a weird thing that these guys are always doing nowadays. Like a lot of haters. This new thing that they do is like they'll either make me fat with AI and be like, this is what you look like. And I don't know why they keep doing that. I don't know if it's because they've hallucinated themselves into thinking that I look like that or something. Or they think like it'll get to me or something. Because like I've been pretty open about my body dysmorphia, but like it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? You can't just like you have to actually hit me when I am feeling insecure. Like if there's anything that I feel insecure about, like you can't just like fucking randomly be like, you're fat when that's not the case. You know what I mean? Literally then trying to trigger dysmorphia. I know, but it doesn't work that way. I've spent. It's because Epstein hypothesized you're wearing suits because you gained weight and suits look good even if you're fat. Yes, it's that stupid. Wait, that's what it is? That's where this came from? That's so funny. I thought that there was like some other reason why they just kept. I thought it was weird because for my entire career, even when I was actually fat, no one ever said I was fat. So I always found it strange that like in the past couple of months, this has been like the number one thing that they keep saying. And I just and now like Asmin Roach also says it too, and it's very weird. And I think it's really funny because it only makes the people that are saying it look more insane. Because it literally is like when they say like, oh, Hamas, Diddy Piker, the dog striker, 9/11 enjoyer, well, stuff like that. Most people go, ew, you're gross. The fuck are you talking about? And if you turn around and you're like, hey, isn't this guy fucking fat? Dude, look at this fat piece of shit. Right? Most people are going to look at you and go, the fuck are you talking about? Call Asmongold Bugs Bunny from now on. Trust me. What does that even mean? His teeth? What's wrong with his teeth? What is this? The recombobulation area. David Crowley will endorse Lieutenant Governor Sarah Rodriguez in the race for Wisconsin governor after dropping out. Yeah, I mean, we know this. Yeah, they're trying to actively and aggressively push for, they're trying to make Sarah Rodriguez happen. They're trying to make Sarah Rodriguez happen because they're worried about Francesca Hong. You got a Haley Stevens, those burps, big dog? Fuck no. Toby Durden has a new grandchild. Oh, hell yeah, Turby. Turby Durden, we're pleased to welcome the beautiful and perfect Lila Elizabeth to the world. Blessed beyond measure. Dude, I saw a comment somewhere that said Hassan actually has endorsed Toby Durden more than he has Graham Plattner, and it's kind of true. But you could basically say that about most politicians versus Toby Durden. This is his grandchild, Chudbert. Stop. Grandpa Turby. Blessed beyond measure to be grandparents for the third time. There is no greater joy in life than the birth of a child. Congratulations to Jenny and DJ. Wait, Donald John Trump? Does Toby know who you are? No, but his campaign manager does, and he fucking hates me. His campaign manager has like tweeted at me over and over again saying if Turby becomes governor, he's going to ban your entry into the state. Donald John Bam Margera is the child's full name. Governor. Turby Derby, Governor of South Dakota. Kaya, what are you doing? Huh? What are you doing? What are you doing? You learned. Kaya is a little bit like Turby Derby, honestly. She's like the Turby Derby of dogs. At least she's not like the Dusty Johnson of dogs, though, because that would Free travel between. I like that you took the threats that he made seriously. Free travel between states is enshrined in the Constitution, is it not? Yeah, I don't think they care. Jasmine Crockett is back.
For me, I am going to be working everywhere. The best thing that I can do for James Tallarico isn't me standing on a stage with him. It is the fact that I endorsed 5 candidates in the runoff who all happen to be black men in the state of Texas, and every single one of them won, and they're going on to November, meaning that they will pull out more black people to vote. People keep trying to say, well, Jasmine has to go and hold his hand. No, I don't. And don't worry about my math and how it works in my mind. Because the reality is that if you can give people more than one thing to vote for, then you have a better chance of getting them out to the polls. And honestly, some people just not going to be sold on certain people that are running in the state of Texas. So the best thing that I can do is take down ballot candidates who no one's ever heard of and do my best to uplift them and
Wait, why not both?
increase the voter participation in a way that we did in Texas. You see, a lot of haters got a lot of things to say about me and my race and how I ran it, but the reality is that there was a lot of racist, not a lot, it was racist. It was a racist race. It is what it is. right? But we live in America, as y'all are celebrating 250, okay? We know what this country is.
An endorsement only takes like 2 minutes. This is bullshit. Yeah, no, I know. She just doesn't. She's a sore loser. I'm sorry. Why are Democrats pretending like Summer Lee isn't ghetto and their DI meltdown is somehow a win? She absolutely is ghetto and anti-American, and worst of all, she defends Islamic terrorism and supports Hassan Piker's calls for violence. Yeah, Laura Loomer, fuck you. Wait, is she saying that Tallarico's racist? She's saying that it was racism that won Tallarico the primaries or something. I don't know. This was so awesome. God.
You disavow your friend Hassan Piker for inciting riots outside Delaney Hall last weekend?
Oh, wait, actually, I think that Delaney Hall is a disgrace. Will you disavow your friend Laura Loomer, who calls black women ghetto black bitches?
Oh, she doesn't mean that.
She doesn't mean that. She doesn't mean that. What is this? Have you seen this yard? God, country, Trump, Durden. Oh, God, that's so awesome. That's so awesome. God, country, Trump, Durden, South Dakota, governor of South Dakota. Is AI? I don't care, brother. I don't care if it's AI. I know it's real. I know it's real. You know who calls that AI? NBC News. Haley Stevens' campaign is seeking to paint Abdul El-Sayed as a sexist podcast, bro. Oh my fucking Lord. That is going to be the literal worst. They're calling this the worst campaign in history. Okay, one. Negative campaigning doesn't draw turnout. Okay. It's literally the pigeon doing fucking stand-up comedy meme. Bernie bros are sexist. Bernie bros are misogynistic. Bernie bros are misogynistic. And they're like, boo, get new material. And the fucking pigeon is like sifting through, or the crow. Sorry, I always say pigeon. The crow is sifting through the cards and it's just the same. Bernie bros are misogynistic. Someone make that meme for me, please. I want to fucking quote retweet this with that. I'm sure that meme already exists, right? By the way, I mean, what can you say about the instincts of this campaign? Shannon Watts is a member of Team Stevens. Shannon's fierce advocate for the safety of our kids and communities, and I'll continue to work with groups like Moms Demand Action to fight for a future free of gun violence, unless it's gun violence happening in Iran. Yeah, I don't want boo, get better material. I want Bernie bros are misogynistic.
Gives. What gives? What gives? What gives? What gives? What gives?
God, it's so awesome. Wait, what's the pigeon discourse? Help Unc over here. Oh, I was saying that someone should recreate this meme with the crow saying Bernie bros are misogynistic, and then they go boo, get better material, and it says Bernie bros misogynistic, Bernie bros misogynistic. This broadcast is just stimming. New and improved Haley website just dropped.
Haley Stevens, she's running for Senate.
Yeah, I know. She's running against me.
Right. Okay. So she's been in Congress since 2017. Since just 2023, she's received over $800,000 of corporate PAC money. This includes max donations from corporations like DTE Energy, as well as all these other lovely corporations.
That's astounding. Is it that easy to find all this information on her campaign site?
So that's the thing. No. When you go to her campaign website, you can go over to her policy page where there's nothing about money in politics or corruption. And weirdly enough, when you go to her endorsement page, you can't find any of the corporations bankrolling her campaign or her biggest financial sponsor, AIPAC.
I feel like the people of Michigan should know about this.
Exactly. We thought the same thing. That's why we created a better version of her website, HaleyStevens4Michigan.com, where you can see all of her corporate sponsors, including the super PACs that are bankrolling her campaign, like AIPAC Super PAC.
Wait, so you're telling me if a bunch of folks right now clicked on HaleyStevens4Michigan.com, this would start showing up above her actual campaign website on Google search results?
I didn't think of that.
That's so fucked up. Oh no. You know what I say to that?
What gives? 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 What gives?
She really looks like Drewski. Okay, guys, stop talking about the way Haley Stevens looks. Obviously, she's going to try to paint me as a surrogate for Abdul and say that my community is being sexist towards her. Stop saying she has the same eyes as Erica Kirk. Piercing. You need to stop. Please stop doing that. Stop calling Haley Stevens John Fetterwoman, okay? That's also messed up. Because John Fetterman actually ran a progressive policy platform. When he ran, he turned Republican after the fact. What gives? I had to keep telling one of my chat to stop saying, okay, stop. I'm not even reading that. Okay, actually stop. Guys, stop. Click the donate button. No, I'm not going to click on this Faillennial website's donate button so I can fucking get Rick rolled like it's 1998. Okay. Sorry, I'm not going to do that. Maddie Maroon, Trump's biggest donor. I downloaded so many new vocal stems after last night. Like Haley Stevens saying, Vladimir Putin. This broadcast is a black hole for fun. Vladimir Putin. Oh, by the way, you guys want to see some other fuck shit again? Another AIPAC ad about Wesley Bell, the attack dog for Israel, and another ad filled to the brim with fucking lies. Here's the new ad of Representative Wesley Bell in Missouri 1, features supporters saying he's leading the fight against Donald Trump.
He was our first ever progressive prosecutor.
Wesley Bell. He helped over 2,000 nonviolent offenders avoid prison through criminal justice reform.
Now Wesley Bell is in Congress leading the fight against Donald Trump. It's Bell who called for abolishing ICE and voted to stop Trump's war in Iran. Bell says we should spend money on health care and not bombs.
There's nothing more annoying to me than AIPAC literally copy pasting our fucking policies and just straight up fucking lying to the good people in St. Louis. Okay? It's so like this should be illegal, man. Like we're not even talking about Farah anymore. Like this should be illegal. They just literally take a conservative congressional representative that they bought and paid for so that they would be a reliable vote on Israel, and they totally flip their worldview and their policies. Like they're one step closer to having an AIPAC attack ad. Oh, you got it? Okay, thank you. Okay, now I gotta find that. Where is it? Where the fuck was it? Where was that tweet? Oh, here it is. What gives? I already used this one. DSA Michigander here. I've seen 0 Haley Stevens signs, 2 Mallory signs, and at least 50 Abdul signs. We're running DSA candidates for mayors in 2 large cities. Hell yeah. I think it's disgusting that AIPAC is doing this shit. Okay? Like, I think it's nasty as fuck. I don't know what else to say about it. Platform over there. Bell is insufferable, by the way. I know. He is such a nasty version of exactly what everybody fucking hates about American politics. They're so unbelievably cynical. 40 million from AIPAC, and then BB goes on TV to pretend she's opposition, literally controlled opposition. I know libs talk a lot about democratic norms, but this behavior makes democracy actually impossible because we don't know what the fuck we are voting for. Yeah. Wesley Bell is just an AIPAC stooge, okay? Straight up. And AIPAC and Wesley know that these progressive policies are popular, okay? They know that these progressive policies are popular, which is why they're fucking lying and claiming that they themselves are the actual progressive candidate. And when AIPAC can dump 30, 40 million into a fucking primary race all of a sudden, it doesn't matter because most people are going to get barraged with those ads. And they're going to be like, okay, I'm just going to go vote for the progressive person, not realizing that the progressive person is not Wesley Bell. Wesley Bell is a fucking empty suit. His campaign was entirely funded by AIPAC. Entirely. I cannot believe it, dude. It's just such a nasty situation. And then we get mad about people that, make the wrong decisions when they vote. We're like, oh, why are people voting against their interests? Because there are billions of dollars of ads running on every fucking television channel to make sure that every single American voter that's even interested enough to go out and vote is making the wrong decision. They're lied to. They're lied to all the fucking time. It's so disgusting. America is quite literally up for sale, okay?
I believe that
It's up for sale. If you don't have any safeguards against this kind of, if you don't have any safeguards against this kind of thing, then yeah, of course our politicians are bought and sold. Speaking of which, Haley Stevens is so funny. She said, it's been an hour since we left the debate stage, and I want to say thanks to everyone who tuned in. Booyah! And then everybody dunked on her. Everybody chill. Everybody chill. Sister, I don't know how to tell you this, but this website updated. Meanwhile, while this is going on, Mallory McMorrow has refused to endorse Abdul El-Sayed, but at least she's not endorsing, at least for the time being, Haley Stevens. We have to help Cori Bush as much as Larkin. What do you mean? I literally went. I went to St. Louis, man. The fuck? What is Abdul's reasoning for supporting a rent freeze for seniors? It's not a rent freeze. It's even worse than that. I wish it was a rent freeze. No, he said he supports no property taxes on seniors, which is the, let's be real. Yeah, also I maxed out the Cori Bush. You know that, right? Yeah, Abdul is trying to gain the seniors with some sloppyism. Now that, I mean, I called it out when he first said it on the debate stage. I said it yesterday. Oh, sorry. He said freeze property taxes, not no property taxes. I apologize. In any case, when he said that, what did I say? When he came out with that policy, which, by the way, as someone who's running for Senate, he doesn't have that kind of control. What do you mean? Can you imagine? Can you imagine doing like a federal mandate on a property tax evaluation freeze? That would be insane. Anyway, yeah, on Michigan, which is not going to happen, but that is pure sloppyism. That was definitely the most sloppulist take that I've ever heard from the man. And guess what? That's fine. Okay? I don't have an issue with it. You want to know why? You want to what? You want to know why? Because I want him to win. Sagar likes it. For Abdul El-Sayed's website, if a senior sells their property to an under 65 person, they will immediately be hit with a property tax reassessment to current market value. This is sick. The assessment freeze does not transfer on sale or death. When the home changes hands, it reassesses at market value. This preserves local tax base integrity over time while ensuring the relief serves its intended purpose, allowing seniors to remain in their homes on fixed incomes. Oh, he's saying, oh, he hates it. This is sick. I thought he was saying, this is sick. I'll be honest, Sagar supporting anything makes me want to oppose it on principle. Don't bring him up. Okay, I actually hope he's performing Takia here. Sagar loves tax laws. Where is your weed interview with him coming out? I haven't talked to Sagar in a long time. Did you see this ad?
How hard am I gonna crack down on China? Well, here's a clue.
Marsha Blackburn worked with President Trump to take on communism.
What the fuck? Dude, we are such a stupid fucking country, dude.
China. As governor, Marsha will fight to protect Tennessee land from Chinese front companies, close loopholes, and hunt down every communist who tries to defy us.
It does.
Marsha Blackburn will hunt down every communist. I'm sorry. This is so stupid. I mean, it's Tennessee, but like also, this is so stupid. We are too stupid of a country to have nukes. We got to take the nukes away, man.
Doesn't take a fortune cookie to figure it out. Here in Tennessee, we're going to stop communist China and protect Tennessee land.
Yeah, Xi Jinping, I heard, was cowering. When this ad came out, Xi Jinping has been awfully quiet since this ad came out from Marsha Blackburn. Do they even have fortune cookies in China? I don't remember. I don't think that's I think that's an American invention, right? Taiwan been really happy since this came out. Yeah. President Xi data center.
It's time to break some China. China stole our jobs, sent us a virus. They're buying up our land and spying on us.
Why is she always making a mess?
I'm Marsha Blackburn, and I approve this message because we're going to have to break a lot more China to say it's.
Bro, I mean, she's so fucking stupid. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I would not invite this lady to my house.